I started to go to the galleries, I guess in 1957, 58, something like that. There weren't too many in those days. You know, you could do everything at one time, starting at 57th Street and going up Madison Avenue. And they were in the 50s and 60s, there were a smattering of galleries. But then you get to about 76th Street, and that was the pit stop, because that was where Park-Bernet auction galleries, the predecessor of Sotheby's, was. It's the Gagosian building now. And galleries all around that area. Galleries all around the area. But it was, and in townhouses, off Madison, you know, in the townhouses. And it was like a whole new world. It really was the sublime versus the mundane. Because in those days, the galleries were all carpeted, and all the pictures had picture lights above them. I mean, many of these galleries were showing art from the early part of the 20th century or the middle 20th century. And it was very elitist. People spoke in whispers, and people were well dressed, and they were kind of snobbish. But here you were looking at the art, and it was quiet and beautiful. And you'd look out a window and you'd see the buses and people running by, and it really was a separation of the two worlds, and you were very aware of it. I think maybe I was aware of it like that for the first time. And I just loved it, you know, and looking at beautiful things and beautiful art.
Mom, when you went to galleries beginning, did you have a concept of buying the art, owning the art?
Never. I just never thought of myself as somebody who was going to be a collector or to own. It just seemed like such a different world to me. And then I met Daddy. And that really was interesting, because when we got married, one of the first things he said to me was, "You always talk about the galleries. Take me to the galleries," because he didn't know anything about the contemporary art world. And he loved the music. You know, he had a subscription to the opera and the ballet and the Philharmonic. So here was somebody who had the same interests that I did aesthetically. And he said, take me. Well, if I was thrilled with it, he was beside himself. He found something. It's like he was looking for something all his life, you know, and suddenly there it was, you know. It was very exciting. And it was the time, everything was exploding then.
This was 1962 now. You got
1962.
You got married in September of 1962.
Right. So this may have happened in October.
So shortly after you got married.
It was in the fall of 62. And we started on 57th Street, you know, the Sidney Janis Gallery and Betty Parsons Gallery, right? And we walked up Madison Avenue. There was Martha Jackson Gallery. There were women gallerists then. Mary Baumeister with the little glass boxes, individual boxes with the glass pieces, you know. I remember that was showing at Martha Jackson at that day. And there was the Worldhouse. It was a big gallery in the Carlisle Hotel. And Paula Cooper was the director of the gallery. You know, she was a young, beautiful woman, just starting out, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just heard something about Paula now. She's opening somewhere else. She's doing something else. She's amazing. And so we went to all of these places. André Emmerich was in a townhouse in the 60s. And I remember we walked in and they had the stripe paintings. We looked at the labels. It was an artist, we kept calling him Lewis Morris. It was Morris Lewis. I remember the paintings well. They were stripe paintings.
Right.
So, you know, in those days they would write the price on the card. And they were $700 and $900. And we thought it was an outrageous price. That's how it all began. And because it was so palpable, it had such a strong effect on us. We went every Saturday. I mean, it became the routine. It took over from everything. We went every Saturday. I mean, even if we go to synagogue some Saturday, a lot of Saturday, we'd go in the afternoon to the galleries.
And Dad, what was your reaction that first day?
Oh, definitely very tremendous exposure, tremendous new thing. Yeah, no, it's very exciting. Very exciting.
Did you buy anything?
No, it was
we
too
didn't buy any.
expensive.
No, everything.
We thought it was too expensive.
It took us a while.
But you
to
kept
buy.
going.
Yes.
What were most of those galleries showing?
They were showing, there was still a great vestige of European influence. Tremendous, you know, hadn't become all American. There was still a
Surrealism.
lot. Yeah, there was surrealism, and there was landscape painting, but there was really, still felt European, except for a few galleries uptown. Like Virginia Dwan Gallery. She was one of the first gallerists to present the minimalists, where you were getting something was happening. And the minimalists at Virginia Dwan were very important, became very important. I mean, she was out there, she was very forward-thinking dealer. So it was the beginning of everything. Or you'd go see the Stable Gallery was there, where you would see Robert Indiana, Andy Warhol, and at Leo Costelli you could see Jasper Johns in a show, Rauschenberg. You know, the early, it was really amazing. And we liked them, but they were out of our range financially, even though they were not that expensive. But for us, as you know, starting out, we thought we weren't adjusted to all of it yet. We hadn't really gotten centered in it yet, you know. And everybody's pit stop at the end of a Saturday was the Park-Bernet. It was the auction galleries. People met there to look at the art, and there were people who were collectors and who were knowledgeable, and there were others like us. It was a very democratic meeting place for people. And then you got to talk to people. You know, it was a place where you could gather and come together all for the same reason, for the love of the art. We did that for maybe a year and a half. We went around on our own, and we knew nobody. We did this on our own. We knew nobody until a certain event happened, which changed the course of our lives and the trajectory of what we were doing.